I am here with my good friend Isabelle, who
Hello.
is one of our recent members, and we wanted to welcome her to the community.
Thank you.
Yes, and give her a spotlight because she is an amazing woman with so many gifts, and I cannot wait for you to bring those to the community. And
Thank you.
before we get going, I would love to know, Isabel, what are you most excited to bring to the Mom Link community?
Oh, honey. Um, my specialty in life is to help women connect to who they are so they can have a congruent life, right? So they can tap into their essence and be truthful to who they are, because when we don't, we can't have a happy life. Well, it's harder, right? So
Yes.
that's my specialty, regardless if it's what form it takes, if it's one-on-one, if it's through workshops, or just, conversations like you and I are having now, which is fine too, and conferences and keynote speaking, and I'm a multifaceted woman.
I love it. Well, how did you get into becoming a purpose mindset transition coach? I mean, you kind of, because when you and I first spoke and when you first came into the community, when you told me that your specialty is helping women through the transition of becoming empty nesters or dealing with challenging marriages, like I would love to know, is there a story behind that, Isabel, that you're open to?
There, there is a big story behind that. Actually, I don't want to go back too far, but I was a massage therapist for a long, long time, for 23 years. And one day, about 15 years ago, one of my clients, at the end of the massage, she was paying and taking her next appointment. She says, Isabel, I don't come here for the massages. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're good at it, and I need them, and my body is always very happy with the treatment that you give me. But the reason I come to see you is because I want to talk to you. Because every time I leave your house, I used to do that in my house. Every time I leave your house, whatever I'm going through, I always have a new perspective on whatever the issue was,
Mhm.
because you always have a different angle or something I haven't thought of, or and that's the only reason I come to see you. And
Oh,
I thought, huh, well, maybe there's something there.
yeah.
And so I went to school, and I will be in school for the rest of my life, just because I love learning. And I went to school and learned and learned and learned and learned, and eventually my own body couldn't be a massage therapist anymore, but I felt it went hand in hand. So for many years, like for over a decade, I did both at the same time. Well, not in the same sessions, but parallel. And sometimes in the same session.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's to me, it's like you were a natural therapist.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have the
Thank
gift.
you.
Have the gift.
Yeah, thank you. I
And
try.
yeah, I just want to say hello to Nicole. So good to
Hi,
see you,
Nicole.
Nicole. And Deb is on with us.
Oh, Debbie, my friend.
Yes, and we have some ladies from Facebook. So welcome.
Hi, guys.
Isabel is being welcomed into the MomLink community. She just joined us a few weeks ago. And
Yeah.
if you are a mom or not a mom, but you are a female in business, you identify as female, and you would like to get some information on how to join our amazing MomLink community, we would love to talk with you. So just reach out to me. You can do that through going to any of the platforms that we're on right now. Sex Coach Heather, just let me know you're interested in finding out some more. And then once you become a member, we will spotlight you just like we are doing with Isabel. This,
And
yeah, and this is
you're the reason I joined too.
thank you. Yes, Isabel and I, we fell in love right away.
We certainly did. You reached out, and I couldn't say no to you. Already.
Oh my God, that's funny. Well, thank you so much. That's a huge compliment. I appreciate that. But yeah, one of our promises to all of the members in our community when they join is we really want to help you to make up for the cost of the investment, as soon as we can, because when you're in business, there is investments to better yourself, better your business, bring in more business, whatever that looks like to each one of us. And that's why I became a member a couple years ago. And so we love to help bring these spotlights to help all of our members to increase their ROI. That's very, very important to us. All right, so let's get back into this. So in understanding the transition, many women, including myself, in their 40s, find themselves feeling lost and unsure of their identity, their personal identity, because maybe up until that point, they've just been moms and they have given their full self to being a mom. They've given their full self to being a wife. And somewhere along the way, we have lost ourselves because we are givers as women. And so we pour everything from us into our families, but along the way we lose that sense of independence, right? So I would love it if you could shed some light on why this transition period can be sometimes challenging for women as they are letting go of their kids are moving out, like all these things are changing.
That is a loaded question. You see, I think part of it goes back to our childhood. Like I'm in my early 50s and I know it's changed now, but when we were kids, Cinderella was saved, by the prince, and Snow White was saved by the prince, and they will all get married and live happily ever after. And well, you and I both know that's a load of crap, right? So,
It
and
really
I'm not ditching marriage, not by any stretch of the imagination, but marriage is work. And being a mother is nothing but sacrifice. So you sacrifice your sleep in the beginning, and you make a sacrifice on your finances, on your identity, on your time, on everything that makes you who you are. And when they're very, very young, well, they need you. They can't fend for themselves, so you need to do it. And plus, we want to do it, right?
right.
So as women, that's what we're made of. So especially for our generation, is we followed the recipe, right? We went to school, we graduated, we found a job, we found a husband, we got married, we had 1.7 kids, and we raised them, and we became soccer mom, and we were the taxi driver, and we did everything. And now they're leaving our house, the little ungratefuls. No, it's a joke. They're leaving the house and going, okay, bye mom, I want to live my life. And then we go, I did everything right, so why do I feel empty?
Mm,
And it's because we forgot, or we didn't have time, and all the excuses are good enough, right? And we didn't tap into, okay, but who am I, and what are my needs, and are my needs being met? And Heather, I'm telling you right now, if the next time I hear someone say, well, self-care is, going to the spa and taking a nice hot bubble bath, I'm going to blow a hissy fit, because self-care is more than a bubble bath.
mm,
Self-care is setting boundaries for yourself, is learning to say no and not feeling guilty about it. And women were particularly bad at that. It is not, it's something that we have to learn along the way. And well, when we have kids, we don't have time to learn that.
yeah.
So we get to our late 40s and early 50s, and we go, okay, well, I got all this time, but what do I like? What are my hobbies? What are my passions? How many women in their 50s I've met that had no idea what their passions are?
Right.
And it's scary to find them again, because you're 50 and you should know better.
Yeah, or know about them. Well, I think sometimes too, like we know what they are, and we even try to keep them. We try and bring our full self into the marriage, and then the man, God bless them, because I love my man, but he tried to do it too. But he was taught that that was not what women should do. He was taught the traditional way of when you get married, that you have kids, and everything is sacrificed for them. And if you have a dream, you put it off until the kids are, I mean, that's just how he was raised. So
Hmm.
if our men are raised that way, then their mindset is coming to that marriage or that relationship, and they don't know that it's could be better. They don't know that there could be a different way or a better way. And so when the woman tries to say, well, gosh, I have this dream too, what about me? Nope, you can't do that until after kids. So if the woman, because I run into this with my sex coaching business all the freaking time, if the woman is not strong in who she is and she's not fully empowered and she doesn't fully understand that God has put
Amen.
a passion in her for a reason and that it should not be put off, she will have a very hard time voicing that to her man and staying firm in that and making sure that she does what she needs to do to not only serve her family but also live out her passion, because you can do both.
Absolutely.
Like you don't have to
Yeah.
wait until you're 40 or 50 when the kids are gone. You can learn how to do what Isabel's talking about right now. Like when your kids are small, make sure you have a conversation though with your partner so you're not you
And before the marriage.
yes, very important before. But if you're already
And
married, have the conversation right now.
I think that the ones that are in their late the women that are in their late 20s and early 30s are actually better than we were at doing that.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, I from what I can see, they're better at doing that. But I see still a lot of tendency of they speak a lot when the young couple is getting ready to be married. They talk about a lot about the wedding day, but they don't talk about the marriage.
Right.
And they don't say, well, well, this is not never gonna change for me, or this. And you and I have had this discussion before that both men and women make a big mistakes, make a big mistake before they get married, and they're not the same mistake, but they are as equally important. Is the man marries the woman thinking she's never going to change, and she does, and the woman marries the man thinking he is going to change, but he does not.
Right.
So sometimes it takes, well, better, that better than me. It takes a lot of communication and understanding and love and to just keep that pace together.
Mhm.
But back to your point, if you don't, and regardless of if it's your with your girlfriend, I mean girlfriends, or girlfriend, I mean that's okay too, or with your husband or with your boss, if you don't stand tall
Mhm.
in what is right for you, nobody's going to do it for
Yeah.
you,
Well, that's right.
ever,
That's right.
ever. So you need to, own that, and it starts by owning it.
Hmm. I agree. So, what would you say are the emotions or common emotions that can come up with women in a situation like this? So, they've lost themselves. What are they feeling emotionally that would tell them, "Whoa, I don't know who I am. I need to get to know who I am."
Well, I think the answer is in your question. They feel lost. So, when in your life, whether it's in your daily life or even on a weekly basis, when there is never a feeling of joy in whatever, your work, your home life, your hobbies, if you never have the feeling of joy ever in your life, you might be living outside your boots.
Mm,
Joy for me is the number one indicator that I'm not on the right track.
yeah.
If I don't feel excited about doing something, like I'm a dancer, right? I love dancing. I've been dancing for over 30 years. Thank you. And whenever I know, like this weekend, whenever I know I'm going to go dancing on Saturday, I go, I'm going to go dancing. And I look like a 5-year-old walking in the candy store
That's
because that's the inner kid in me because I know I'm going to play.
yes.
And that's for me, joy is the indicator. That's a simple answer to your very complex question.
You know what? I didn't know this about you. I didn't know you were a dancer. So
I've been dancing since 1998.
what type of dance?
I do all of them. I started. I'm gonna tell you this story because that's actually a funny story.
Okay.
I started New Year's Eve of 1998. I went to this club with a few friends of mine, and there was a rockabilly band.
Ah,
And me and my friend Sean at the time were looking at the people dancing, and I mean, they looked like they knew what the hell they were doing, and they looked so happy. And I
mm,
said, and Sean and I weren't dating; we were actually just friends. And I said, Sean, we need to learn how to do this. So 12 days later was the beginning of the new session. I went to see most of the dancers and say, okay, where did you learn to do that? And they all told me the school, and it was a lady that used to live in Montreal. She's in Chicago now, and she said, "Oh, we went to that school." And 12 days later, we were starting, and I never stopped since. So I do a dance that's called jive, which is the old rockabilly, what we used to dance in the 50s to rock and roll music.
dun, 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 dun.
That's right.
Like
That's right.
what's that
And
movie?
then
Yeah, Grease.
Greece.
Yeah, Grease.
Yeah, but in duo, like in couples, and then from that gang, three of the guys opened the dance studio, and then we hired a ballroom teacher to come and teach us. So I did that for a few years, and then that turned into salsa and bachata and kazamba and all that good stuff. So I dance it all now.
Dang. All right.
Yeah,
My
it's
my
fun.
background is ballet from a very young age. Yeah, little tutus. And then
That's
from
why you have a good posture because you did ballet.
and then from there I went to hip hop. So by the time I hit high school, I was kind of like bored of ballet and everyone was into hip hop, that was when
Yeah.
all the pop and lock and break dancing and all that. And so I'm like, oh my God, like I just love this music. And so I learned how to do that and I was on the dance team. And then after that, we just went clubbing for many, many years. And then recently, since my 40s, I started to take burlesque, which is high heels, sexy, sexy, sexy dancing, and really
Woohoo!
to feel confident. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it, and I still do hip hop. So I love it, and I transitioned into becoming a teacher not that long ago, and I do a lot of online
Cool.
classes and stuff. So I didn't know we had that in common. So this is like another reason why I love doing.
Another, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it's
not.
oh my God, another facet of Isabelle that I absolutely love.
It's funny because I'm sure you're the same way. Sometimes we meet people and we start a conversation, and 37 years later, the conversation isn't over. That's how I feel.
Yeah, very, very true. Oh, I love it. I love it. So, how do you guide women in rediscovering their true selves and regain that sense of purpose and fulfillment? How do you do that with them?
Well, it also depends on if I'm coaching them one on one or if I'm doing a group workshop or presentation. If I do a one-on-one,
Uh-huh.
I always start with the a very very simple exercise, and I call it the "This is me" exercise. And it takes. I'll give you the large principles. It's a little bit more complex than that, but the big principles are taking time by yourself with a pen and paper, not a laptop. You can't type this. You have to write this, and it's 4 questions. Like the all the every time that somebody's belittled you or made you feel small or insulted you or hurt you, you write it down, and then you write down every time you did that to yourself,
Oh,
and you write it until you cannot think of anything left to write. And of course, you bawl your eyes out and you
Yep.
have to be ready to tap into these emotions.
Yes.
And then you reread everything um, that you've written, and you sit with your feelings for 5 minutes. And I tell the women, put the timer on, no less than 5 minutes. And the average, so far in my practice, the average women usually sat no less than 20 because they just let it all out,
Yeah.
right? All of the bad things. And then I have them burn the papers, and the S is very important because it's never one piece of paper. And they burn the papers, and I tell them, as you are burning these papers, let them go. Tell them this is not who I am.
Mm,
And then they have to do it all over again with everything positive. So they start with every gift they've received, every compliment they've received, every time somebody's helped them or did something nice for them. And then, second step, all the positive things that they think about themselves.
oh man, this is powerful. I hope you guys are right. I'm writing this down.
And I'll send it to you, Heather. Don't
Yes.
worry about it. I'll send it to you. And then they do the same thing as the bad things. They need to sit there, reread this, and sit there. And I'm telling you, Heather, I have given this exercise to hundreds of women.
Mm,
They all tell me the same thing. And I do that exercise for myself once a year, and it's the same for me. Like I'm not sitting on top of the mountain waiting for you ladies to catch up with me. Not at all. I'm climbing the mountain just like you are. And every time they get way more emotional on the positive than they did on the negative.
yeah.
And once they are done living all of their emotions, I tell them to take a big, big, big marker, the color they want, and write in bold letters, this is who I am.
Hmm.
Because most of the time, Heather, people aren't being authentic and people aren't being who they are because they have no clue of who that is.
Right. Yeah.
So, in order to reconnect to your essence, you have to know who that is. But I'm going to ask 100 women, and 85 of them are going to tell me, yeah, I know who I am. But if you reflect something that a behavior has shown you, they go, oh no, I don't do that because they don't see it. It takes a lot of courage to look inwards.
Yep. It
It
does.
takes a lot of courage because you need to tap into vulnerability.
Hmm.
And it's the first thing we want to see in others, but it's the last thing we want to show.
Oh my God, it's so true. Yes, it's so true.
It's not only my hair color, honey.
You're so adorable.
Thank you.
The
Sorry,
other
I
day,
need a sip of water though.
yeah, go for it, go for it. So the other day I was talking to Isabelle and she said to me, and I wrote this down and I was like, we're bringing this today to the interview. You said that you emphasize helping women to identify their God given talents and learn to make a living from them. I loved it when you
Yeah.
said that. So, can you share of just maybe one or two examples of success stories of women who have undergone this process and have achieved fulfillment and financial independence? Isabel's like, it's me.
Well, I'm the first example of that. I'm the first
Hey,
example of that.
that's a great leader right there. You got to lead yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's the second time I told you the story about how I became a mindset coach. I didn't tell you the story about how I became a massage therapist.
Okay.
I go where God wants me. That's how I rule. I rule my life. And I was in the military.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in the Air Force. And
Wow.
a friend of mine said, Isabelle, I'm going to a Swedish massage in 15-hour, like a weekend introduction to Swedish massage, but I really don't want to go alone. So would you go with me? I said, yeah, of course. So I went because I have no reasons to say no. I say yes.
Yes.
So I went, and it was very interesting. And the teacher, holy goodness, she was passionate and she was full of information. And after the 15 hours, I'm like, no, it can't be over. Like, why? This is fun. And she says, well, we're starting. The next step is a 200-hour training session on Swedish massage. I said, okay, so when do I join? So I started that. And then, well, in order to do that, you needed the 45-hour of this and 75-hour of that and 45 hours of this and 15 hours of that. And that's how I became a massage therapist.
That is incredible.
I
love that story.
I get too tired swimming upstream. So I just, okay, God, you want me there? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me there now? Okay, fine.
Mm.
Why go again? It's just so tiresome. Why don't you just go, okay? And I don't want to diminish what it takes, because it does take courage and it does take guts.
Yeah. And grit. Mm-hmm.
But you can't lose.
Mm-mm.
You can't lose. So yeah, that'd be the biggest
Especially if you
story.
end up like feeling really fulfilled inside while you do it, because I think God wants us to feel like you talked about joy. So he loves it when we feel joyful. He loves it when we feel fulfilled and we can lay our head down on the pillow at night and be like, wow, today was an amazing day. Even if money didn't come into my account, I know it's on the
Amen.
way, because that's what God promises. He will supply all of our needs, especially when we're out here, giving our gift that he put in us. So we know it's coming, but even if it's not there yet, we're like, man, that was like the best day ever. I love those days.
And I told you when we talked at the beginning of this week, I think I was 18 when I
Mhm.
heard this saying for the first time, because as you can tell, ladies, English is not my mother tongue. And so I was singing. I used to sing in a classical music choir, and I was just humming. And a lady on the street, somebody I didn't know, approached me and she said, your voice is God's gift to you. And
Oh,
when you sing, it is your gift. But
oh,
this applies to everything in your life.
mhm.
And you can't lose.
Yeah.
You can't lose. And I don't want to come across as this hyper religious person, because I truly am not. I don't even remember the last time I went. No, that's true. I went to mass last Wednesday because I had a funeral. But I mean, I don't attend church on a regular basis. My connection to God is upwards. I don't really do the community thing, which is okay if it's okay for somebody else. It's just that's not how I connect to God. But it's still that.
Hmm.
And whether we want to, for me, whether we want to call it God or the universe or the angels or karma, for me, the sense of the energy is all the same. The message is all the same. Karma is the same thing. Is you do right, you get right. You do wrong, you get bit.
Yeah.
you know?
I totally,
So
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. So let's talk about overcoming limiting beliefs. So a lot of women might struggle with self-doubt and limiting beliefs that can hinder their progress. So how do you help women overcome these mental obstacles and cultivate that positive mindset?
With a magical word. The magical word is yet.
Yet. So how does that
Yes.
work? Let us know how that works.
It's very easy. Oh, Isabelle, I can't do that. Oh, I'm not making enough money yet.
Hmm.
Because what the word yet does is it adds doubt inside your self-doubt.
Hmm.
When you add yet, it opens up the possibility of thinking differently.
Ooh, I love that. I
It opens the possibility of that door opening.
mhm.
And the other thing that I use very early on when I coach people, or mostly women, but sometimes men, is stop with the negative. But I don't mean just the negative self-talk. I mean in the language.
Hmm.
I know it's going to sound weird because I'm going to use it, but don't say don't. So find a way that every sentence that comes out of your mouth has no negation inside of it,
Mhm.
because the brain doesn't understand the negative. It is a language thing. So if you say, I can't smoke, 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 all your brain hears is smoke, 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 smoke. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to quit smoking, you're gonna increase the amount of time, or the amount of time that you smoke. And it's going to make your quitting smoking harder.
Hmm.
So instead, replace it by a I am smoke free. Remove everything that's negative in your language. And this sounds so easy. Trust me, it's not.
I
It
want to
is.
ask you, what if I want to stop eating cookies?
I am sugar free.
I am sugar free.
Sugar free. I live a sugar free life. I
I
do that with potato chip. I'm a chipaholic. I'm a potato chip aholic. I don't drink alcohol, like, at all. Zero, never.
hmm.
And but potato chips, oh, Heather, they, I don't know. I live in Canada, guys. I don't know about you guys, but when I buy potato chips, I open the bag, they're all attached together. I
Ah!
One comes out and they all come out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's like this movie I saw. It had Jack Black in it, and I remember him saying, "If the cheese makes the chips stick together, it's one nacho."
Oh, that's funny too.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I know. But
I like that reframe, the reframe language. So I will write that down and start to use that, because you're right. It's like if I think to myself, um, like I don't want to eat cookies tonight, then all I'm thinking about is the cookie, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. So I like that.
And I saw this. I've known this phenomenon for a long time, but I saw this in one of the Simon Select talk, because he talks about that, and he says the human brain doesn't understand the negative, and I'm going to prove it to you. Don't think of an elephant. What are you thinking of right now? Exactly. And skiers know this because they'll say, follow the snow.
Yeah.
Instead of don't hit the tree, they say, follow the snow. And so they follow the snow. Well,
Mhm.
it's the same thing in our lives. It's just some of us don't know that principle, and it's hard to apply a principle you're unaware of.
Yeah.
And it's hard to catch yourself. It is difficult to catch yourself.
Yeah.
But when you start doing it, it's like gratitude, because that's my second favorite tool is gratitude, and it should be my number one, but it's my number two. And gratitude, I have ladies saying, yeah, well, what do I got to be grateful for? Well, you woke up this morning.
Yeah. Your
Were
heart.
you on a bed?
Mm-hmm.
Were you next to somebody? Are
Mm-hmm.
your kids safe and sound? Do you have 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 legs, 2 arms, and a brain? And the more you know this, the more you're grateful, the more you start seeing things to be grateful for.
Yep.
And you get to a point that it doesn't become automatic. Ladies, I don't want to cheat you out of something. It doesn't become automatic, but the more you do it, the more you are aware of it, and the more you apply it on your daily life. So one day you get stuck in traffic, and instead of swearing because you're not moving, you're saying, I am not getting a speeding ticket right now.
That's me.
I've had so many speeding tickets. It's not
Yeah,
funny.
I know. I know. It's crazy how fast we want to get there. But no, you're right. It's like what what we focus on the most is what we're going to get more of. So, yeah. I love to.
Energy flows where intention goes.
I know. It's so true. I love that.
Yeah.
So use the word yet. So
Yet.
don't use can't, don't use the word should or I should have or it's hard. I know for when a lot of the work that I've had to do on myself is don't use the word hard, use challenging. For me, the word challenging just means that I can find a solution. So
Yeah.
if I say the word hard, it automatically makes me retract back into myself and pull back and think I'll never be able to do it. But if I say it's challenging, then I know, okay, yeah, it might feel uncomfortable, but there's a way that you could find to bring the result in. It might not
Yeah.
be working now, but you could find a way.
Yeah. And
That's
looking at it, the way you look at any problems is oh, that's going to be interesting.
yes. I agree.
The energy that does instead of, oh, this is hard. Like even my body language, oh, this is hard. And
Mm.
I did it on purpose the second time, but the
No,
first time I
I
didn't.
already feel it. Anytime I say the word
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I do go like that. And there's a little bit of an anxiety kind of a feeling in the pit of my stomach, which
Yeah.
which never feels good.
Indeed.
I know. Well, the other day when we were talking, you mentioned that you desire to speak on more stages. And so I
Yeah.
love for you to elaborate on the topics that you would like to address and the impact that you're hoping to make through public speaking.
Well, the anything that has to do with mindset. I don't have like one topic. If a client would want to talk about growth mindset in the workplace, I can do that. If it's overcoming fears, I can do that. If it's overcoming self-doubt, I can do that. So anything that has mindset, because it's a broad
Yeah.
spectrum, right? Mindset is the base of everything else. So the impact is I want everybody on this planet to be happy, and I believe that this my experience. I believe that when we are using our God's given talent, it's easier to get there.
Hmm.
That's honestly between. I don't want to get political, really. I really don't. But honestly, if Vladimir Putin was happy, would he have bombarded the Ukraine right now? It doesn't come from a happy place. It can't. So if everybody was loved and if everybody was fulfilled, and I know, some of the ladies are going to look at me and go, she comes from La La Land. But if everybody was fulfilled and if everybody was living a life, a congruent life with who they are, I think it'd be a nicer planet.
Let me ask you,
So,
have you ever felt, you personally, have you ever felt unhappy?
oh God, yes.
Okay, so you know what that feels like. So
Happy for decades.
because you know what that feels like, that's why it's so important for you to not have other people feel unhappy because now you've transitioned from unhappy to happy. And I can imagine you speaking on stages, taking men, women, couples, whatever that looks like, whatever stage, that you get invited to, taking them from feeling unfulfilled to feeling fulfilled by the time that they leave. And how amazing would that be that you could be used in that way with a huge group of people at once? Like to
Or
me,
at least give them a tool to get there.
mm,
Yeah. But yeah, unhappiness is where I lived until I was 37 and 3 months.
wow. Mhm.
It's a true story. I don't know. I don't have my glasses because I didn't want to wear my glasses, so I don't know how much time I've got. But if I have 3 minutes, I'll tell you the story.
Yes.
My
You have,
mother passed. Thank you. My mother passed away from lung cancer when she was 36 and I was 5.
wow.
And she obviously left behind 3 kids. I was the youngest, and a dad who couldn't cook. I mean, he couldn't boil an egg. This was the 1970s. Men had not been allowed in the kitchen. And that event obviously made me become a very, very sad kid
Mm,
that turned into an angry teenager that turned into a very bitter adult.
mm,
And it wasn't until I outlived her when I was 37 and 3 months. I was so depressed and I was such a negative person. And this life that I had been given, I was wasting it. I really was. And when I was 37, I stood up one morning, butt naked in front of my bathroom mirror, and I was bawling my eyes out. And I looked at myself in the eyes. And we don't do that.
mm.
We look at our hair, we look at our wrinkles, we look at our teeth. Do I have spinach in my teeth? We apply the lipstick, but we never look at ourselves in the eyes, in the mirror. And instinctively, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said out loud, I will never forget this. I said out loud, I cannot live like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there was two choices, and I said that too. I either kill myself today or I choose another way to live.
Wow.
And obviously I did not kill myself.
Mm.
So
What a
I
powerful story.
have been there. I have been miserable and I have felt lost and I have, and that's why I know the way out is
Mm,
because I've done it for myself.
yeah. Man, girl, your story is freaking powerful.
Thank you.
And you know what? I'm glad that you're still here with us because
Oh, yeah. Well, makes two of us.
you have so much to offer the world, the mom link, me as a person. So I'm so happy we're friends.
We are indeed.
Oh, I'm so grateful for you. Well,
Thank you.
how
Right
can
back at you.
viewers support and connect with you to potentially invite you to speak at their events or
The best way to get a hold of me is on my platform, which is izzyfortin.com. So that's IZZYF as in Foxtrot, ORTIN. So
okay,
izzyfortin.com. And I am starting in about 3 weeks. I am starting a free workshops on my platform through most likely will be Zoom,
okay,
and it will not be streamed anywhere. It will be just me and whoever wants for 30 minutes every week, and I will change the subject every week. So redefining mistakes, overcoming self-doubt, self-love, self-care, and this exercise that I've given earlier, that's my first one. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, which is Isabelle with an E and not an A. My name is not Isabella, but Isabelle Fortin. You can connect with me there. And on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, my name is Coach Izzy.
love.
I'm not on these three platforms a lot. I don't have a lot of following, but if you guys all want to come, I'll have more and I'll create more content.
I love that. That sounds incredible. So,
Thank you.
for a call to action as we go ahead and wrap up today, what advice or encouragement would you give to women watching this video that really resonate with your message and want to start reclaiming their lives?
Find whatever makes your heart full of joy.
Oh,
Look for that.
mm,
And don't look for that in 3 weeks or when the kids leave or when your husband's asleep, or make put that on your priority list and try things.
mm.
Try things. My 75-year-old grandmother told me at 75, "Oh, Isabel, I didn't know I liked reading." She had just picked up reading. She was 75. She didn't know she enjoyed reading. She
Mm.
didn't have time before. So try, go to Zumba class. If you don't like it, go to what you were saying before, or hip hop, or In French, it's called baladi, or just try things. If you like knitting, try that. If you try things,
Mhm.
think of yourself as being a new teenager
Mm.
and
Yeah,
try different things.
like it's like a self-discovery journey
That's right.
just to see what you like. And I don't know if you guys watched the Gilmore Girls, but
Yes.
there was a scene from the Gilmore Girls when the mom and so Lorelai and Emily,
Rory.
her mom, no,
Oh, her mom. Okay.
Lorelai and then her mom, Emily, they gotten into a wicked fight and they weren't talking. I can't remember the reason, but I remember her sitting down with her daughter. So Lorelai's daughter, Rory, they were in the kitchen and she was like trying all of these different Pop Tarts. And she's like, I don't know if I like Pop Tarts. Do I like Pop Tarts
Oh,
or is
yes.
it because my mom said you shouldn't have Pop Tarts? So then I started eating Pop Tarts to rebel against her wishes. So I think a lot of times we don't really know what we like because we have been conditioned through so many different avenues, whether it's our parents, our grandparents, the church, religion, whatever, the world,
The
society,
community, the school. Yeah.
friends. Yeah, all of these things over the years that we really have lost ourselves. And for me, the way I found my way back is I had to get still and I had to turn off all the noise, which meant I took a social media break. I went away from people I was hanging out with. I spent some time away from my husband, even. Not that we were separated or nothing, but
No, I understand.
I took a trip. I was like, I'm just going to go away for a week because I really need to figure this stuff out. And with everyone else's voice in my head, it was just really challenging to figure that out. So do what you ladies can to figure that out. Hire Isabelle if you're needing some coaching and you'd like some support and accountability in that way. Because it can feel, we talked about the word hard, but it can feel hard to do it on your own because it feels lonely
Yeah.
and no and other people might not understand. They might not be ready for that kind of journey themselves. So hire someone like Isabelle, all right? And of course, if you need some support in your overall business and you would like some encouragement and some accountability to be held with your daily action steps in business, please take the time to look up the Mom Link. We would love to support you in your business in that way, and of course in your personal life as well. So, Isabelle, do you have any other closing remarks or anything else that you'd like to share with our?
Thank you. That's it. I'm done. No, it's been pleasant, and yeah, I encourage the lovely ladies that aren't on Mom Link yet to join because really, it's a real community. It's not just a buzzword. It is a real community that are gonna support you and help you and put the spotlight on you. And so,
Mhm.
join in. Let's have more fun. The
Yes,
more, the merrier.
I love it. Thank you, Isabelle. All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much for joining. We love you all. Bye.
Bye, guys.